morning, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Yeah, welcome to Yoco Next 2026. Now, we're gathered in a building that's been quietly backing independent businesses for decades. The site that we actually are in has been here since 1913. It opened as a working laundry that actually kept the city running. Then, later a hub for mechanics and panel beaters in the 90s, and now, this beautiful space we're sitting in, a space built around artisans, makers, and community. It's always been a place where people who build things find their footing, almost like a beacon of resilience and innovation, which makes it the perfect room for what you're about to witness today. In this room, we have journalists, business owners, and people who have been keeping an eye on South Africa's independent business economy for a long time. And today, we are going to show you something worth watching. But first, let's start where Yoco always starts, with the people it's built for.
They said you were too small, not worth their time, so they left you the crumbs. But you built anyway, made a plan, made another plan. You backed yourself because you had to. That's why you started, to create your own opportunity, build something that matters, and set yourself free. Today, you need a partner that does exactly that. Frees you from survival mode. The constant no's, the admin that follows you home, so you can breathe again. Make smarter calls and do what you love. Tools built for you by people who've been there too. We once gave you access. Now, we're giving you an unfair advantage. Stop just running your business and get back to building it, growing it. The reason you started it, with people who've been with you all along. Yoco Next, unfair advantage.
Years of being there every step of the way, Yoco's 4 founders never stopped showing up. Please welcome to the stage 3 of Yoco's 4 founders, Bradley Watrous, Lungi Samachoba, and Carl Wazen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for that great introduction, and welcome everyone here today. Just one fun fact about this venue, actually. One of our early merchants, Tsepo Jeans, actually started right here, making what's now quite an iconic clothing brand. So a lot of history for us here today. So I want to start with, where we are right now, not where we want to be, but where we actually are. And just like this venue and the merchants trading here, independent business are more important to South Africa than ever before. Our communities really depend on them, but they're also under an unprecedented amount of pressure. We speak to our merchants every day. We hear what's on your mind. We hear what's keeping them up at night. And beneath the inspiring stories, the uniquely crafted products and personal services, there's a lot of pain, the rising costs, the daily pressures. In addition, technology is moving at a breakneck speed, but it's leaving independent business to figure out how to piece it all together, how to make it work for them. The financial products that they're using also weren't designed for their way of business. And this means merchants really feel the challenge every single day as they try to make ends meet. In our most recent survey, so we surveyed our merchants in March, 77% said that global conflict is affecting their business. These bigger topics come back down to home. 46% said that they feel less confident at the start of this year than they did before. And finally, 51% have seen customers spending less since February this year. Independent businesses in South Africa have been dealt an unfair hand, not by any single player, but by a whole system that wasn't designed for their reality. And that's the world that Yoco has been operating in for the last 11 years. And it's also the world that made us build what we've built. Over to you, Lungisa.
Thank you, Brad. I think what's important for us when we're thinking about our products and working with our customers, the reality is that for us as Yoco, we don't build our products from the outside. Every tool starts with a real shop on a real day with a real problem that we're close enough to feel. We build it through understanding and being in the room through our products. When the Friday lunch rush hits, your single tool can't keep up, we're there. When a salon owner who's drowning in WhatsApp bookings and all the other noise and can't really get to the core of their business, we are there. And when the closing shift doesn't balance, we are also there. In the room, through our products for 11 years. Like any business, our ambitions have hit obstacles along the way, but we have always been clear. We are building towards something bigger than a card machine. As a technology company, we believe with the right principles and with the right care, we can help independent businesses move from survival mode into growth mode and eventually enable them to thrive, getting you back to the thing that you actually love. If you look behind me here, this pyramid has been really central to the Yoco story since the start. Katleko, Carl, Bradley, and myself, along the way, really quickly early on realized that this ultimately is what we're trying to do as a business, which is take business owners from spending all their time at the bottom, which is survive, to being able to have that take up the least portion of the time that you invest in your business so you can spend more of your time growing and delighting your customers. And actually, at the end of the day, apply your time to the thing that drives your business, your craft, your passion, and your big ideas. And each of these ultimately are the reason why you open the door in the first place. So today we begin to reveal who we have become. And at the end of the day, for us, it's really who we have always been.
Brad has shown you the reality that independent businesses are in. Lungisa told you about our journey of building for them. Now let me tell you why today is different. The pyramid that Lungi showed you, that idea that we scribbled on paper 11 years ago when we launched Yoco, that vision hasn't changed. In fact, it's all been in service of this moment. This is the moment when that vision becomes undeniable. We've been building the infrastructure, putting the building blocks in place, earning the right to say what we're about to say by being inside merchants' businesses, behind the counter, with them every step of the way. Today, we stop merely solving problems. We're giving independent businesses the advantage they always deserved. The intelligent tools, the connected platform, the financial services that flex with how your money actually moves. All things that were previously reserved for the large businesses and the affluent. Today, we're bringing them to independent businesses all across South Africa. Less manual work, less guesswork, less of the stuff that kept you away from the reason you got into this in the first place. That is what today's about, so let's get into it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let's give them a round of applause once again. Their campus was so beautiful because how many people in the room can actually relate with the feeling of moving from survival to thriving? Can I see a hand? All of us, right? Exciting. Now, for what we would even call our first announcement, I would like to call up Carl Wazen back to the stage, who's going to be joined by Alfie Ulu, who's the product designer at Yoco. Please give them a round of applause as they walk up to the stage.
The pressure South Africans are under is real, and it's measurable, not just in the headlines, but in our own data. When we surveyed our merchants, we found that 41% are buying less stock. 32% are actively looking for cheaper suppliers. 72% of independent businesses have drawn on personal savings in the past year just to keep the business afloat. With over 200,000 merchants, we can look at actual transaction data, and what we're seeing is not surprising. Input costs are up, fuel costs are at an all-time high, consumer spending is down. The restaurant owner, the salon owner, the retailer, they're all just running harder just to stand still, never mind grow. So because the cost of running a business in South Africa right now is so painfully high and investing for growth matters more than ever before, we decided to do something about it. Over the last 2 months, Yoco has made its biggest ever financial investment in our merchant base. We've significantly reduced our transaction rates by up to 40%. This means we're putting over 250 million rands per year back in the hands of South Africa's independent businesses. That's money that stays in your business. I'm going to hand over to Elfie.
More than pushing 250 million rand back into independent business, here's what we've been thinking about. How do we make sure that that money is actually working for our merchants? You see, in 2025, we launched Yoco Capital, and it taught us something very important about how independent businesses manage their money. When merchants need cash, they need it now. But more than that, they need a flexible repayment plan that lets them repay in the same rhythm as their business. And that's why Yoco Capital worked the way that it did. You get the funding when you need it, and you repay it as a percentage of your sales. So when business is good, you pay more. And when business slows down, your repayment slows down too. And so this pushed us to ask a different question. If we can build a cash advance product that is based on how merchants sell and earn money, how might we introduce a savings product that is centered around the way businesses grow their money? And so it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Yoco Savings.
Introducing Yoco Savings. Turn every transaction into effortless saving. Create up to 3 goals at a time. Decide on a percentage to save on each transaction and watch your savings grow automatically. Accessible instantly, whenever you need it, with no lock-in or minimum balances. Just flexible savings for your business on your terms.
Exciting, right? So how does this actually work? First, you're going to choose a percentage of each sale that you would like to set aside, and we call this your daily savings. Then, you'll create goals for your business with the Pockets feature, which will allow you to assign a percentage of your daily savings into each pocket. For example, you might set aside 15% for VAT to release that constant administrative burden. And maybe another 5% for a new coffee machine, so that every single sale contributes to the future operations of your business. And finally, that last 5% for those unpredictable rainy days that visit every business out there. And so, at the close of each day, some of your sales will go into each of the pockets that you've created. And so there's one less distraction preventing you from doing what you do best, running your business. And when those December peaks come and business is booming, your pockets grow accordingly. And when January eventually comes around and business slows down, your savings slow down proportionally too. That's true flexibility. But the best part is, beyond an automatic savings, your money is working for you. Your funds are invested with Yoco's trusted investment partners to generate returns for you. And when VAT season comes by around again, you've already done the hard work. You simply open your app, the VAT pocket has 30,000 Rand, and with one tap, that money is back in your bank account instantly. No lock-ins, no minimum balance. And merchants are already using this product. In just 21 days from launch, 4,000 businesses are already using Yoco Pockets. And together, they've invested more than 3.4 million Rand to date, as well as developing high returns from this automated savings. And the best part, it's available for you today.
Thank you, Alfie. So we've discussed reducing transaction fees and offering savings. But economic pressure isn't just on business owners. It's on every person walking through your doors, deciding where to spend their money. So how many of you are part of a loyalty program? Just raise your hand. Don't be shy. Okay, it's quite a few. Our data confirms that 76% of South African consumers already use loyalty programs. The biggest retailers in South Africa have loyalty programs that keep customers coming back. Independent businesses have had nothing. The technology has been too expensive. The app development was out of reach. The system required a team of specialists to manage it. And customers who choose independent businesses versus a larger business get nothing. And yet, 1 in 3 food and beverage customers at Yoco merchants are coming back at least twice a month. 50% of food and beverage revenue comes from recurring customers. In retail, recurring customers are growing faster than the total customer base. It's the same in health and beauty. The loyalty behavior is already there. It just hasn't been rewarded. Today, that changes with Yoco Loyalty.
Reward and retain your returning customers with Yoco Loyalty. Customers simply tap, earn, and redeem points at checkout. with confirmation sent instantly via WhatsApp. No apps to download. No punch cards. No extra admin. Just simple rewards that keep customers coming back.
South Africa's first broad-based, card-linked loyalty system built specifically for independent businesses. It's super simple. As you can see on the screen, no app to download, no punch card, no separate system to set up. The customer just taps their card and the points accrue automatically. The restaurant owner now knows who that Friday regular is, and they have a reason to keep choosing your restaurant. 4.9 billion rands in recurring customer transactions passed through Yoco terminals in Q1 alone. That's the opportunity that this unlocks. It's the first of its kind in South Africa, and it's available to any Yoco merchant today. Rates reduced, savings launched, and loyalty live. 3 things that say clearly, tangibly, Yoco is on the side of independent businesses, not just when times are good, but right now, when it matters the most. And the reason all of this works is because it doesn't live in isolation. It's all connected. One platform working together.
We have just gotten started, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to Carl and Alfie for that. You know, as Carl was speaking, the biggest opportunity that actually stood out for me was when Carl mentioned that 4.9 million in recurring customer transactions passed through Yoco's terminals. I don't know if you heard that, but we need to give that a round of applause. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that truly shows the economic power that's not only present in this room, but in South Africa's independent businesses. So I cannot wait for what's more to come. But next, please help me welcome Yoco's Director of Design, Dean Broadley, to the stage.
So, for years, independent businesses have just lived with a simple disconnect. You get used to the administration, the manual workarounds, and you live with the frustration often getting so used to that disconnection that you don't even see what you're missing. Sometimes you make mistakes instantly, but often you're paying a price both literally and figuratively. In lost time, in friction, and in the opportunities that slip away. Every independent business in South Africa is running on a set of tools that just don't talk to each other. A restaurant owner runs her payments on Yoco maybe, her accounting on Xero, her delivery platform somewhere else, and none of the other knows each exist. Our aim is to fix this. And Yoco Connect is an integrations hub built directly into our Yoco app. A merchant simply opens the app, goes to manage, connects Xero as an example, and then automate their reconciliation like that. They can connect e-commerce platforms so that every card swipe flows straight into the online store. Think of your stock levels, purchase orders, supplier management, all connected to your payments in real time. No developer needed, no exports, no copy and paste. A live connection so that when a sale happens in your store, it flows. And this isn't a beta. It isn't a waitlist. It's live right now. For every Yoco merchant. So you'll find today 13 integrations live, already more going live in the coming months, and we have already 500 merchants running Xero. That's 500 businesses whose books reconcile themselves. That's time back, and that's human error removed. And there's the other side of the story as well. Yoco can't build every tool that merchants need. So we opened our platform, and we launched the Yoco Developer Hub. Any developer, any third party, any merchant can now build on top of Yoco. And it's already been discovered. Merchants have been building since it went live without us even announcing it. Over 50 of those applications are live and actively being used today. A testament to the spirit of a Yoco merchant. One merchant, in fact, a restaurant owner, built his own kitchen display on iOS to send his orders straight from the counter directly to his kitchen and from scratch using our APIs. No help from us. He had a problem, he built the solution, and Yoco's platform made it possible. And that's the shift, really. In a world where AI means you can no longer need a developer to build like one, an open platform is a business unlock for every entrepreneur. And so today we also go one step further. Introducing the Yoco MCP. The Yoco MCP server is also live. So what that lets you do is you can use the AI tool of your choice, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, and you can connect it directly into your Yoco account. And then just through a conversation, you can create a payment link, look up transactions, payments, issue a refund, reconcile payouts, and manage your product catalog. So a merchant who would previously have had to hire someone and wait months to now describe what they need, connect to Yoco through an AI tool, and start building the very same day. And so between Yoco Connect and the Developer Hub, there are two sides of the same platform. Yoco Connect is where merchants discover and install integrations, and the Developer Hub is where they can build their own integrations. And the MCP server is there where AI becomes part of your business. One platform, everything connected. And that basically makes it the most open payments infrastructure in South Africa. And it belongs to the independent businesses who needed it most.
Thank you so much, Dean, for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the future, you've seen the intelligence, you've seen the investment, the connected platform. But none of that exists without what came before it. 11 years of being in the room, watching what broke and building the fix. Over the next 30 minutes, the team will take you through 3 businesses that are powered by Yoco. We're talking real businesses, real moments, the exact situations that drove every product decision Yoco has made for over a decade. So let's begin right here in Johannesburg. Here to take us through the food and beverage industry, Shabnam Osman, Yoco's Director of Product. Please welcome her to the stage, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Michelle. So not many industries move like food. The moment a rush hits and the team comes alive is something else entirely. From the morning coffee rush to lunchtime queues to packed Friday night service, these businesses are in constant motion and the tools behind them need to keep up. At Yoco, we work with over 50,000 food businesses across this industry, across South Africa, and we know this industry well. And what we keep hearing over and over is a version of the same thing. Our systems are holding us back. Orders are getting lost, customers are waiting, staff are running back and forth, the cost of goods are fluctuating, and an owner needs to be everywhere at once. But before I get into the solution that we've built for this industry, I want you to hear from someone who is living it today.
I had my first customer come round and he said, "Can you make a arrabbiata?" So I made an arrabbiata pasta for him. And it was way too hot, but the dude sat there and he ate it and I could see him sweating. And I was like, is it too hot? And he's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I like chili. And I mean, I'll never forget it. That was my first customer. My mom makes a great lasagna. Matt started making bread. I said, you do the bread and I'll do the lasagna. Delivering a lasagna and then delivering bread and then more bread. And we did panna cottas and we did like the sickest pizzas. We made our own mozzarella in the beginning and it was excellent. It was so good. I love it. I love it so much. I'd banked with one of the major banks in South Africa. I saw that they had a little handheld portable card device. I called them and I said, I'm really interested in getting this. It looks super cool. And they said, yeah, absolutely. We'll send a guy in 3.5 weeks. So I said, cool. Phoned up Yoco and I was like, what can you guys do for me? No, we'll have a device tomorrow. We'll deliver it. And I had this Yoco device linked to my bank account in 5 minutes. Our old system wasn't as intuitive. We were stuck with timing. So the customers were stuck in the queue for too long. And then we had issues with connectivity. It would drop. And then we ended up having to do the sale manually anyway. We knew then that we actually needed to have an integrated system. And it's only now that we've needed to integrate everything at 9 yards that we've seen what Yoco can offer. And it's that same point of sale, but with some amazing functionality added on. For us, it's the exact system that we need. What I've been able to do now is to focus on other parts of the business. So I'm able to go and visit the buildings that we occupy and hand out menus and bring those relationships back in, because it's nice when the owner of a business comes to see you. It means more. It's our house here and we welcome you. Anyways, cool. I need to eat. Very cool. Yeah.
That's That's what it looks like when your tools work for you. If you are intrigued to try Tiamo's food, I'm pleased to let you know that it'll be available on offer at lunch after this. So now let's talk about what's behind that, right? You've seen for cafes, for coffee shops, bakeries, takeaways, the pressure is speed. And speed breaks down when your systems don't talk to each other. Yoco Counter changes that. It's one system connected. The counter, the nail touch, the printer. A customer places the order and it's captured on the counter. The kitchen gets their slip and the barista gets theirs as well. That's one order, separate printouts, depending on what's being ordered. No shouting through a hatch, no handwritten notes. The payment happens on the nail touch. And with our smart receipts, the customer gets emailed their receipt. And if they've signed up for Yoco Loyalty, it's added to the system when they pay. They tap, they earn, they get a WhatsApp before they've even left the building. And the merchant doesn't need to manage it, it just works. It all speaks to each other and it runs like clockwork. And Yoco merchants' checkouts move 55% faster at the counter. That's the difference between a queue that grows and one that moves. Now, for a sit-down restaurant, the problem is coordination. Across a floor, across a shift, across a team who all need to know the same thing at the same time. And before, the waiter used to be the bottleneck, right? Carrying information back and forth between the table, the counter, and the kitchen, really hoping that nothing slipped. Well, Yoco changes that again with one connected system. The Yoco Counter manages the floor. Tables are mapped exactly the way the restaurant runs. Every member of the staff is now looking at the same picture in real time, from the moment the first guest arrives till when the last table pays the bill. And our newly launched Kumo 2 makes tableside ordering possible. So now it goes straight to the table in the waiter's hand. Orders are placed and payments are taken on the device itself. That means no more scribbles on notepads, no walk to the counter, no room for delay, as the waitstaff are called over to tend to another table. And because the order goes through from the table, the kitchen gets a slip immediately. There's no mistake because something got lost in translation. There are fewer errors, there are faster turns, and you won't have a guest who sits waiting for the bill at the end of the night. And then when the service closes, the owner doesn't need to piece together what happened from memory. The system already has it. Which tables drove the night? Where is service slowed? How has the floor moved from open to closed? The picture is there without anyone needing to build it. And this is what it means to build for this food industry. Regardless of your size, of your setup, or your menu, you have one system. You need one system. Every tool talking to the next. Because nobody opened a restaurant to manage table flows. They opened it to share their passion for food. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shabnam, and you're absolutely right. I honestly think that independent businesses deserve tools built around how they actually work, not how they should be adapted, but specifically built for them. And for Yoco, that thinking doesn't stop in the food industry. Yoco product lead Dean Bellingham is here to tell us how Yoco brings this thinking into retail. Dean, the floor is yours.
Hello. Feels like we need a moment just to comprehend all the value that's already happened. So no time for that. So we're going to continue on, but here we go. A new clothing store, a gift shop, a weekend market trader who is just getting started. What all of these businesses have in common is that the tools available to them were either too expensive, too complicated, or simply not designed for the way that they sell. We think that every one of these businesses deserves something better, something simple enough to start today and smart enough to grow with them. I'll take this blue hat. To the owner, Ayanda, it's not just a hat. It represents a dream and ambition. She's perfected the design, the brand, the feeling. The only thing left to do is to make that first sale. Now, we know there are a lot of card machines out there to choose from, but we've been in this game for a long time, and we've perfected the art of getting started. The simplest way to get started is with the device already in your pocket. With Tap to Pay on iPhone, any merchant, anywhere, can start accepting card payments with no additional hardware needed. A customer taps their card to your phone, and the sale is done. Now, if you haven't experienced this yet, come find me after the session. It really is one of the closest things to magic that I've experienced in a long time. It's a cool experience. Now, as Ayanda sells more hats and her business starts taking off, she might open up a permanent store. I personally think there will be queues out the door, so she'll want her checkout experience to be as delightful as the feeling of putting on this hat. But most point-of-sale systems come with a lot of baggage. A consultation, a technician visit, an installation window, a training session, another technician visit, and often they don't look really good. Something you'd rather hide away than display proudly on your counter. And before you know it, you're 5 days in and you haven't sold a single thing. So we flipped the script. Getting started is as simple as as jumping on your phone, and this will take quicker than going on Instagram and scrolling mindlessly, I promise you. Finding a bundle that suits your business needs, and we've designed a lot of bundles to make it easier to choose from. Adding that item to the cart and completing the simple sign-up process. Before you know it, you'll have the delivery at your front door. Now, speaking of deliveries, come on in. What do we have here? Thank you, Lindo. So inside this parcel is everything you need to get started. Yoco counter, the NeoTouch card machine, and our brand new sexy barcode scanner. A complete selling setup delivered and ready to go. We stripped away the complexity and built something for you to start selling literally within an afternoon. Delivered to anywhere in South Africa, whether you're in Sandton or Sutherland. No tech person, no installer, no training session needed. The hardware and the software are built for each other, and they work together from the moment you switch them on. You unbox it, plug it in, set up your products, and sell. Now, 500 new hats have just arrived at Ayanda's front door. She simply scans the barcode, links it to her product, and she's ready to sell in seconds. As each hat leaves the store, stock updates automatically. When it runs low, she knows before the shelf is empty, not after. Checkout is 40% faster at peak, and the queues keep moving. And we're just getting started, with even better ways for Ayanda to manage her business on its way. Now, taking that first step is one thing, a big thing, but growth is a whole different game. More staff means you need to know who is doing what. An unauthorized discount, a void with no explanation, a refund that simply doesn't add up. These things compound quietly. With Yoco, every action is logged. Every permission is set by you, and you can see it all from anywhere just by checking your app. You stay in control as your business grows, and you have the data to know exactly what is happening. Now Ayanda's blue hat business is booming, and celebrities all over are spotted wearing them. I see some in the crowd, I think. More locations mean she needs more visibility. One view across her empire. Products, prices, staff, sales. One account, everything visible. Nothing falling through the cracks. Yoco merchants running multiple locations on Yoco grew their monthly revenue by 14% over the first 3 months of this year because they could finally see the full picture clearly enough to make the right calls. And now if you're a customer of Ayanda's, with smart receipts, before you've even reached the car park, a receipt has landed on your phone. Ayanda's store name, her logo, and a reason to go back. It sends after every payment automatically for as long as she's in business, with loyalty and a space to promote her business baked in. Every sale becomes the beginning of the next one. So whatever your business looks like today, and wherever it is going, Yoco is built for it. Simple to start, powerful as you scale. Right there with you every step of the way. Thank you. Now, I'd like to invite one of our many retail success stories onto the stage to share their growth story. From the inclusive SA women's wear brand Me&B, please welcome co-founder Kelly Gibbard. You can wear the hat.
It's really finishing my look.
So, Kelly, I have a confession to make. I've spent a lot of time in Me&B stores with my wife as she's browsed your many delightful garments, but I know very little about the origin story of Me&B. So do you mind sharing how things got started and how you took that first step?
So Me&B is a fashion brand that I started with my mom, and basically it came from a frustration that we had. I'm not a size 32 or 34, and both my mom and I don't fit into the smaller category in terms of clothing sizes. And basically I just used to get so frustrated because I wanted to find clothing that was expressive, that made me feel like I could say something about my personality, that was trend relevant and also made well. So my background is in retail. I was working for one of the big corporate giants, and I could see how they would always chase price, take out the pockets, take out all the love and detail in garments. So I realized people out there were choosing between fashion or fit, and I saw a gap in the market, and I said we need to offer both. So with my mom, who is the most incredible designer, she's got over 25 years in local manufacturing, we started the brand Me&B, and it's all about inclusive sizing. We go from a size 32 all the way up to a size 46. We are currently supporting 10 factories in Cape Town. We have opened up 10 stores, an incredible e-commerce platform platform as well. And we've got 55 employees, and it's like so much to be proud of. And it's just been such an incredible journey. So thank you.
Awesome. So is there a moment in the journey that you realize like this is real and this is growing and there's something here? Like is there a specific moment where you had that realization?
I think every time we get a sale, I'm always so shocked that people are shopping with us over everyone else. I still have that feeling. But there have been 3 like really iconic moments for me that I look back on and I'm like, pinch me, this is not real. The first one was opening up our first store at 44 Stanley here in Joburg. It's still our best performing store today, but that feeling of opening up your store, seeing the logo go up, your clothes hanging up, the vision coming to life was such an amazing moment. The next was having our glow up moment of our offices. We were in Salt River in a very much a manufacturing part of Cape Town. People would like run in to come and purchase, holding their handbags, freaked out, and I was like, yeah, we've got this very great vision for the brand. And then moving from that space to a front-facing customer experience, having our store connected to our office, that was wild and amazing. And then lastly was the fashion show that we held. It was one of our first fashion shows we held in the Palms where our offices is. It was 450 people that arrived, and we realized we were building like more than a brand. It was about the community, and then people were supporting us, and that was just amazing. So yeah, those were the 3 things that blew my mind in our journey.
Thank you so much for sharing. So we heard a bit earlier from Carl and Brad about some of the challenges facing South African merchants at the moment and merchants all over the globe. What are some of those challenges that you are navigating, and how are you navigating them at the moment?
So obviously, because we're a fully vertical business, we're doing the manufacturing ourselves. Manufacturing itself has got so many challenges. There are local capabilities. So a lot of the time I'm trying to hero inclusive sizing, but then I'm also trying to hero local production. And it's very difficult I want to give the extended sizes what they want. And sometimes the vision of what I want is not actually possible with local capabilities. So that's been a challenge to navigate. And then people questioning whether you're a local brand or drive me mad. But so that's a real challenge that I've been facing. Costs are continually a huge problem. We actually end up paying import duties on raw materials that we can't even produce in the country. And then the customers are comparing us to the big giants like Shein and Temu. I mean, dreaded words to say, but it is something that we're up against, and we've still got to try and make our customers understand the costs that go into that. And then lastly, the brand. So when we first started the brand, it was like, we're going to be inclusive, we're going to show people of different sizes, ages, races in our campaigns, and now that's become the norm. So how do you stand out? How do you make sure people are seeing what we're actually standing for and we still believe in it? How do you land the vision you have for the brand online, on socials, and in store all at once? Yeah, these are just some of the challenges that we face.
Awesome, yeah, and I'm sure challenges that are shared by a lot of the merchants here today as well. I'm sure there are a lot of people in this room that are sitting on an idea or a dream or something that they really want to get started with. What would be your bit of advice to them to take that first step in this journey?
I think it would be just to start, even if you're not ready, because that's what happens. You're never going to be ready. You just need to go for it. You need to learn really quickly and change your direction into terms of what you're learning. The big thing for me, for anyone out there who's got an idea and wants to do it, is just make sure you are extremely passionate about what you do, because that's what's going to take you over the line. You're going to get faced with the hardest decisions and you're going to cry, and it's the passion that keeps you going.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, and hopefully a lot of what we've seen today shows you how easy it is to get started with Yoco, so there's really no excuse there. Now you just have to close Instagram and get started. Thanks so much, Kelly. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Here's your hat.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing your story. I've been eyeing your brand for some time now, and the question that was on my mind is, how do you stand out when it seems like everyone is doing the same thing that you're doing? And I think every entrepreneur in the room can attest to the fact that if we say everyone's now doing content, it's like, oh, how do I stand out even if people are doing the same things? And I loved when you just said, just start. Just do it. That was so profound and powerful. Dean, thank you so much. You led that conversation so beautifully. I was actually thinking about Ayanda's story, and I thought to myself, listen to this. Ayanda's story sounds like Ayanda was the underdog, hint, hint, right? That attended Yoco Next 2026 and then unlocked the unfair advantage, which is so profound because, right? Basically 10x Ayanda's business. So very exciting things we're getting to hear today. So lastly, we're about to explore the health and beauty sector. So please welcome back to the stage, Yoco Director of Design, Dean Broadley.
How's it? So let me tell you a little bit of a story. So imagine a hair salon in Danefern. Monday morning, 10 to 8 a.m., 7 WhatsApp messages in, a paper diary on a reception desk, and a double booking that she hasn't seen yet. First client arrives in 10 minutes. She's not disorganized. She simply built a business using tools that were available to her. And for this industry, those tools have always been too expensive, complicated, or simply not designed for the way a salon actually works. Health and beauty in South Africa is a 1.1 trillion rand industry. Salons, studios, nail bars, wellness spaces, owner-run mostly by women. Businesses that are built on personal relationships and craft, and most of them are still running on paper, on memory, on WhatsApp threads that scroll back months. So Yoco built something to solve this. As simple enough to set up in the afternoon, yet powerful enough to fundamentally change how the business runs. And here is what that same Monday morning looks like now. She opens the app, the whole week is there. Every stylist in their own column, every appointment color-coded and slotted. She can see at a glance who is fully booked, who has a gap at 2 p.m., and how much revenue is already confirmed before the first client walks in. The double booking cannot happen. The system catches it before she does. The chaos of before is gone. And the biggest shift is what happens over time. Every client who comes through the door leaves behind something. What they've done, what they bought, who their stylist was. And the next time the client books, whoever takes that appointment knows exactly who they are and what they need. The relationship no longer lives in one person's head. It lives in the business. And that means it remains. It isn't dependent on a single stylist. When a new staff member joins, when the regular comes back after 2 months away, when they want to know who's your best clients who actually are. It's the difference between running a salon and building a following of loyal clients who won't go anywhere else. At the end of the week, the picture is already there. Every service attributed, every staff member's contribution visible. The reconciliation that used to happen on a Sunday night is already done. Everything that was once manual, once invisible, once dependent on one person remembering, now runs in the background. That is Yoco's health and beauty point of sale. But who better to hear it from than a person who actually works in the space? So I'd like to welcome on stage somebody who we've known a while and who I've learned is actually extended family of mine, Kay Williams.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so just a little bit about Kay. Kay's built Creme Beauty. She has 11 locations. You funded 10 of them, right?
Correct.
And you've been with Yoco since the beginning of your journey, right?
Since 2018. Thanks for that intro. And hello to everybody. Thank you for attending our family meeting. So my name is Kay. I'm the owner of Creme Beauty Lounge. I think I'm one of those big dreamers and still continue to dream. But yes, it started with a dream and a big drive. In November 2018, I finally decided that I wanted to open my first salon, which I did in Fairlands Walk. As the journey continued, I also realized that there was definitely a gap in the market, Dean, for affordable, accessible beauty services within the South African market. We wanted to open that door where beauty is, first of all, accessible and convenient. We actually operate on a walk-in policy, so you don't really have to make an appointment, because many of the ladies, as they are sitting here, if they made an appointment, they would have missed it by now. So we have a walk-in policy where as long as you come an hour before we close, that we can do a proper service for you. So accessible and affordable. We want to make beauty accessible to every woman across all ages without breaking the bank. Because in the economy where we're at now, we don't want the lady to decide, should I spend 700 Rand or 1,000 Rand on a beauty service, or should it actually go for necessities in the household? So in that way, I can proudly say that we make beauty not just accessible, but definitely affordable to all women of South Africa and beyond. So, yeah.
It's really, really cool. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, you started this as a side hustle while you were still working in big bad corporate world?
Correct, Dean, yes. I was working in the pharmaceutical industry, and specifically focusing on dermatology at the time, which I just felt I wanted to be transparent with my employer at the time to say that I'm going to start this small side hustle. And the side hustle grew and grew and grew. Guys, don't burn bridges. Always maintain good relationships with your people that you actually work with while you are still in corporate and when you are still full-time employed. We never know when we need people along the way. And that's part of the reason why I love Yoco. It's so nice as a small business to be part of a bigger cause, because Yoco is beyond Creme. Creme is part of Yoco, and that's why I always say, yes, we are absolutely family. And as a family member of Yoco, all of you that is part of the Yoco family should feel that you belong and that you belong with Yoco. Did I dwindle off the point?
No, it was
as
great.
usual?
The fields, listen, we never want to shortcut the fields, you know. You've got now 11 locations, that's
Yes.
correct, right? And you used Yoco pretty much from the start of Creme, etc. And how did you fund the expansion of those things?
When I opened in 2018, I got the Yoco machine, right? And as the business was generating sales on a daily basis, Yoco has got that functionality on it where it kind of, you create a history for yourself with your turnover, with your daily sales, etc. There is the functionality and the option that is available for every merchant where there's a Yoco Capital option. The first time that I used it was in November 2019 when I opened the second salon in Campus Square at the time, and that was fully funded by Yoco Capital. And it was one of those exciting things month on month, especially when there's money coming in on a daily basis. You can see that the capital every month, you can see, okay, it's growing. And then when landlords come and approach and have great locations available, you can act quickly, you can commit quickly if it's the right location. And I honestly feel if it wasn't for Yoco Capital, our growth might not actually have been as fast as it was during this 8 years of being part of Yoco.
Oh, that's really cool to hear. And now you've got the 11 locations, right? That's quite a lot to manage. Are you driving around the entire country? Tell me a little bit how do you manage that with Yoco and keep on top of it?
Definitely from a systems perspective, guys, use the Yoco app. You can track your sales on a weekly, monthly, yesterday. You can do staff planning because you can actually see which time of the previous day or the week your store was the busiest. That definitely from a back office perspective, from an admin perspective, it definitely helps. And also when we have to do monthly feedbacks, we can see exactly how many clients we've served. We can look at the average spend per client. So definitely having multiple locations, but having one point of contact, which is the Yoco app, definitely makes lives a lot easier.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think when I was looking at 98% of your your revenue is coming through card payments, right?
Correct.
And how did that change for you, how you think about how you want to run the business?
If I can just share a personal experience where I've totally burned my fingers by sometimes trusting staff members a little bit too much, and cash sometimes becomes a huge problem within the business. We've lost a lot of money, which, it's one of those things, it's bygones. However, if it had not actually been for our Yoco card machines at the time, I think we wouldn't have had a business by now. A lot of the transactions at the time went through the Yoco machine that the business could still recover from the unfortunate incidents that happened. At this point in time, we are literally 99% only card transactions. It gives us better control, we can plan better. So just from an efficiency perspective as well, definitely it's
100%.
making a life a lot better.
Well, that's really, really good to hear. Thank you so much for coming up here and sharing
Thank
your
you,
story and
Dean.
explaining this to everybody. We always appreciate you being here. So thank you,
you
Kay.
so
Well
much.
done.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Kay and Dean. As they were speaking, there's a phrase that kept coming into my mind. And I'd even like to call it an African proverb. It's itil maikale. The cash register must ring day in and day out. And such an inspiring story, Kay. And also just together with Kelly that came before her, it actually reminded me of something important. And that's the realization or the awakening that some of the most extraordinary businesses being built in this country right now are actually being built by women. Yeah. You know, these are women who saw a gap, who backed themselves, and who built something from nothing. And honestly, today is really just a testament that Yoco exists to make sure that whoever you are, wherever you are starting from, the tools are there when you actually need them. So, 3 industries, 3 different businesses, and 1 smart commerce solution built for all of them. To close out this fantastic session, please welcome back to the stage our co-founders.
What you've seen here today is our commitment to give independent businesses access to the same technology as the bigger brands at a fraction of the cost. That's the unfair advantage. Our future is ambition. As you can see, we've built a lot, but what's coming is even bigger. And to help us build this future, we have a new addition to the Yoco leadership team. We'd like to invite him not only to the stage, but also to our next chapter. To close us out, please welcome Yoco's new CEO, Karsten Holtkemeyer.
Good morning. Hello. Mzansi. I hope you like football a bit. I hope you support Bafana Bafana. So first of all, thank you very much, Lungi, Bradley, and Carl, and everybody else who has shared with us today. It has been such an inspiring morning for me, I have to say. I want to tell you actually how I ended here, and that has a lot to do with football, really. For a number of years, and some of you know that, I was actually involved with FC St. Pauli. It's a football club in Germany, in Hamburg. And they are not the biggest club in the world, and they are not the biggest club in Germany, and they are nowhere near the richest club in the world, right? But they have built one of the most extraordinary communities in the world of football. Not by winning trophies, but by standing with the outsiders, the ones who never felt at home in football's establishment, the overlooked, the underdog, the ones who always felt like the system wasn't built for them. And when I first heard about Yoco, I thought, this is the same thing. This is it. Different industry, different country, but it's the same spirit. And when I sat across from Brad, Langi, and Carl, and I heard their dedication actually and their vision, I made the decision to come here. Because what I saw in those conversations was 3 people who genuinely believe in what they have spent 11 years building. No performance, no positioning, just an absolute commitment to their merchants. And then there's this country. I'll say this carefully because I don't want to get it wrong. I'm new here. I'm still learning. But what has struck me most about South Africa is the spirit of the people. I come from Germany. Right now the mood there is heavy. There's a kind of collective exhaustion. And here, the challenges are real. Nobody in this room needs me to explain that. In a place where you might expect defeat, there's so much fight, so much joy, so much humanity. The optimism exists not despite difficulty, but somehow right alongside it. And it is a big part of why I choose to be here. So my role? I want to be clear about this. The team and the founders have built something extraordinary. I'm not here to take that over. I'm here to support it. To add where I can add with the experience I bring from scaling businesses at this kind of moment. My job is to help Yoco go further, faster, while everything that makes it Yoco stays exactly as it is. I'm the new addition to the squad. I did not build this club, but I'm completely committed to helping it win. And winning is something I care about deeply. I want Yoco to win, and I want every merchant in this room and the 200,000 businesses on this platform to win. Thank you. in a way that changes what is possible for independent businesses in South Africa. And I will put everything I have into making it happen, right alongside Brad, Lungi, and Carl. Thank you.
We have one more thing left for us in the day, and I'd like to invite Talente to join me on stage. Talente is one of the Dyna co-founders alongside Chris Duplessis, who have joined Yoco as founders in residence. In May, we completed an exciting acquisition of Dyna AI, which you may have seen in the press, and the founders joined the team. Earlier in the day, we spoke about the treadmill and the pyramid, and our ambition to get business owners off this treadmill so they can focus on their craft, growing their business, and achieving their ambitious goals. But I think the reality is the question does still remain, how do we do this for every independent business in South Africa? And I'm going to leave that question up to Talente to answer.
Thanks for the introduction, Lungi. That's a very difficult question to answer. Before I get into it, I'd like for you to watch a short video to show you what's coming. Thank you. So that's a summary of what's coming. But of course, you're probably thinking anyone can do a video like that. But I'm actually here to tell you that at Dyna, we've been building AI for more than a year. And we're not the type of business that sits in glass offices and just write code in the background. We actually sit in people's kitchens and understand their problems. So we've sat with over 100 high-end or innovative restaurants across the country, from Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, a few in the Eastern Cape as well. So we've trained our AI in a way that it understands people's core problems that they have on a day-to-day basis. So if you take that and you combine it with Yoco's more than 10 years of SMME experience and data, it allows us to build capabilities or tools that will allow you to build and grow your business in a sustainable way going forward. Obviously, that sounds scripted. So now let me tell you exactly what we're doing. So to go back to Kay's points earlier, that she's running 11 different businesses and she uses Yoco to look at everything. And she said she loves it at the moment, but we're actually here to tell her that we're taking it a step further. So today, the way it works, if you want to pull up a sales report, is you'll go to the sales history or you'll go to reports, you pull up one screen and then it'll take you to another screen, which takes you to yet another screen, and then you get half the answer, and now you have to phone your accountant and ask them, what does this mean? What does it mean when my GP is negative 100%? And you figure out that someone captured an invoice in grams instead of kilograms, as an example. And those are the problems that our AI will help you solve. And so instead of clicking around through pages, the answers come directly to you. It's a simple text or voice message to the AI, and the AI gives you the answer. It's plain, simple, very straightforward. And the other thing that it does is most AI systems today are, if we're being honest, basic chatbots that come from 2015 that just have LLMs embedded in them. What we're building is very different. We're building tools that will actually take work off your hands. We're building tools that will do stuff for you. So I'll give you another example that hits a bit closer to home, and you'll find out why. So think about this. You're updating your product catalog for the winter special, as an example. The way you would do that today is you would sit down, you'd add descriptions, names, prices, and then you have to figure out, okay, which category does this go to, which modifiers am I adding, and all that sort of stuff. And before you know it, it's 6 o'clock. Yes, you have a beautiful catalog, but you've missed your school run. So yeah, you have a nice catalog, but you're not such a good parent anymore, and you have some apologies to make. That's not the future we want, not for you and not for your children. And the future that we want for you is a future where everything is nice and seamless. So what we're building is AI that will allow you to simply say, I want to add the latest kombucha to my product catalog, and I want small, medium, large. The medium is 45 rands, and the small and large are 10% from the medium, and boom, your product catalog has been updated. That's the future that we're building. And again, it's easy to talk. So I was told to come give you examples, but I've been known my whole life to not follow rules. So what I did instead is I snuck in a whole bunch of videos into the presentation. I didn't tell the Yoco team, only the people at the top there, just to show you a snippet of what's coming. So firstly, I apologize to the Yoco team. Secondly, please roll the video. Hi.
Hi, Talintha. Yoco Assistant here. How can I lend a hand with Yoco Farmers today?
I want to set up a savings pocket to buy a coffee machine at the end of next year. I just started my business, but I expect to make about 50,000 rands a month. Tell me the recommended percentage and help me set up the pocket.
That sounds like a great plan, Talintha. To recommend a percentage to save, I'd need to know roughly how much the coffee machine will cost. Do you have an idea of the price range you're looking at? Once I have that, I can help you work out the monthly savings goal and set up the pocket for you.
The coffee machine costs 100,000 rands.
Right, to save 100,000 rand by the end of next year, that's about 5,560 rand per month for the next 18 months. Since you expect to make 50,000 rand a month, I'd recommend setting aside about 11 to 12% of each sale. Would you like me to set up a pocket named Coffee Machine with that percentage?
Yes, let's do 12% to be more conservative.
Certainly, I'm setting your automatic savings rate to 12% now. Done. Your automatic savings rate is now set to 12%. This means 12% of each sale will be automatically saved towards your coffee machine. Would you like me to create a specific savings goal for that record too?
And just like that, in under 30 seconds, we've set up a savings pocket, no clicking around, no making mistakes. Now 12% of your daily sales will go towards buying your coffee machine. And hopefully, if all goes well, by the end of next year, you'll have a nice coffee machine.
Very exciting, but what we're trying to illustrate here as well is the idea really is that the product is bringing out information, you're interacting with, everything is happening for you real time. What's really, I think, important for us is to talk a little bit about where's Yoco we see AI. And I think there's been a lot of talk globally about AI, the role it plays, etc. And at Yoco, we believe AI makes in-person business more engaging, not less. The more the world goes digital, the more the real things matter. Where previously, as an owner, you barely had any time to engage with your customers, what you start to realize is that's the most important interaction. So the coffee that's made by the friendly barista, the salon that remembers how you like your nails, the restaurant owner who comes by to offer you the dessert that you're a regular and eat quite regularly, those things are irreplaceable. And AI doesn't threaten that world, at least not in our view. In fact, it makes that world run better and more intelligently and brings us all back to the thing that matters, which is the true human interactions in that world. That is what Yoco AI is about, and it will truly give you the unfair advantage. When is Yoco AI coming, I guess, is the big question that you'd have at this point. And for us, Yoco AI is not launching today. It is coming in Q3. And we're really, really excited about that. What we really wanted to say at this point is we're just getting started, and there's a lot more to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we can all agree that after every announcement that we've heard today, we have officially unlocked the unfair advantage, yeah? It's been absolutely fantastic. What a beautiful morning to the Yoco team. We want to give you a round of applause to the Yoco team, and right over the back as well. There's part of the Yoco team outside. There are people who've flown all the way from different parts of the country to come and make this happen, and it's been an absolute success. Thank you so much to the founders in the room, the product builders, and the people behind every feature you saw today. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause one more time. Yeah, what you have built for independent businesses in this country is something to be genuinely proud of. And it has been exciting to actually see. And to every business owner in the room, listen, I'm going to ask you to give yourself a standing ovation because we know entrepreneurship is not easy. Come on, I'll wait for you. Let's go. Every entrepreneur in the room that showed up for themselves today, yeah, let's give them a round of applause. It takes a level of grit and resilience to build something. And what today really meant for me was just the realization that if you just stick it through for over a decade, there's a lot that can happen and a lot of successes that we'll enjoy. And to just all the guests that came today, you are the reason that all of this exists, together with all the entrepreneurs in the room, the tools, the investments, the platform. Every decision Yoco has made for 11 years has started with you. When they were building Yoco, they were not building it from the outside, but they actually built it from the inside. Today was just never about a product launch. It was a line in the sand that independent businesses in this country deserve to win, not just thrive, but to actually win. And that only happens if we move together. So here's my challenge for you today. Take what you have heard back into your business. Tell someone else what is possible. Let's fill our social media feeds, share our ideas, take those videos, and grow this moment beyond what you've heard and what you've seen today. Now, every independent business that grows, every owner who backs themselves, every customer who chooses the local over the chain, and that is important. Choosing the local over that is the movement. That's how we actually win, and it starts with the people that are in this room. But one of the biggest things to remember for today is that your story is worth telling. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's grow together.